Hello everyone, it's Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up today with this awesome 12 by 12 layout that I have done of my nephew. And if you want to see how I put this layout together, please keep watching. Okay, so here we are with this great combination of photos of my nephew playing at the park. And my sister asked me to actually complete this layout for her. It's not going in my album, it's going in hers. And I decided to keep the 4 smaller photos onto one 4x6 vertical photo. I was going to split them up into 4 smaller photos, but I thought for this particular layout they would look better kind of kept together. I am actually going off a sketch, and I really apologise that I didn't include the sketch. I completely forgot when I was editing this, and now that I'm in the middle of the voiceover, it's a little late to put the sketch in. But it's actually a sketch challenge over at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club Facebook group, which I'm part of. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm using the sketch. So the sketch had a sort of, I guess it's not a grid, but like these block of stripes of kind of paper as the main focal point. So I took that and ran with it. I didn't completely follow the sketch. I turned the sketch sideways. The strips in the sketch were vertical, but I wanted mine horizontal because I felt like it fit better with the photo. So I'm just backing my photo on some pattern paper and figuring out what I want to do. I actually edited quite a lot out of this video because I did a few things and I didn't like them, and then I changed my mind, and the video I think would have been maybe 20 minutes long or so if I didn't cut out some of the stuff where I was just faffing about and trying things here and trying things there. I know some people really like to watch that process, but I just wanted to make sure my video didn't go too long for you all. So I've backed the photo on one piece of pattern paper, and then I want to come back and back it again on this darker pattern paper. I didn't quite have enough to go all the way around the photo, so I do piece a little bit kind of together on that sort of top right hand side that I'm working on there. You can sort of see, and that looks fine. You can't even tell that it's pieced together. I mean, you see such a small amount of it poking out behind the photo anyway that it really doesn't matter. So remember that you can do that. You don't have to, it doesn't have to match, the pattern doesn't have to match completely for it still to look fine. It does look fine. So you can see I just used that little bit that I'd sort of cut off from the edge to piece into the back here. And I apologise, in a minute my hands will go out of frame. I didn't realise that while I was doing it. It's only for a few seconds and then they'll come back in. But it's just when I'm piecing the little bit of pattern paper into the corner there and cutting it, trimming it down so it all matches. And you can't even tell that I've done it. So that is the photo backed, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time thinking about what I want to do with the embellishing and how I want this to look. And you'll see that I've edited out a bit of stuff here, and that is because I faffed about for ages. So I'm getting out this chipboard frame that I know I really want to use because I felt like, because there was the 4 photos going on, I kind of wanted to highlight one of them. So you can see here, obviously my frame had changed, and that was because I'd probably spent 10 or 15 minutes kind of thinking about different things I could do. And now that I've decided what I want to do, I've come back and I kind of not but starting the voiceover from where I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. So I pulled out this big piece of washi. I should mention I'm using the February kits from Kitaholic Kits, and this washi tape came in an earlier kit. I think it was late last year. So I've pulled out the washi, and then there's this cute butterfly washi that also came in the kits, but that was last year sometime, that I just pulled from my stash. And I'm creating these sort of layers of interest underneath the photo. You don't end up seeing much of them, but they're just peeking through, and a good way to use some washi and add a bit of different texture and things to the layout. And then from the chipboard that came in the kit, which is from the Cocoa Vanilla More Than Words collection, I do use the frames, and I actually also use the bits that go around the frames that I think are rubbish. I think they're actually supposed to be rubbish, not part of, I guess, the chipboard that was intended for use. But because I thought the colours actually still looked good, I did use them on this layout. So I'm popping up some foam dots kind of in between the frames and sticking my photo down. So now that I've done that, I am sort of thinking about how I want to position this frame to highlight this particular photo in the bottom right. It's the cutest photo of my nephew, and I thought it was a really good one to kind of draw your eye to. The others, obviously, they're him playing, but they're a bit further away, whereas this photo in the bottom right is a really lovely close-up, and I wanted to kind of, I guess, draw your eye to that. So I wanted to use this chipboard frame to do that. And I'm just figuring out how I want to position it. So I've stuck it down, but I needed to put a little foam dot on the bottom right just to make sure it didn't kind of sag down there. Can't have a saggy photo. So I'm looking at the thickers that came in the Kidaholic kits in the month of February, and I decided to go with the title Hello Trouble, which is a bit cheeky because my nephew wasn't doing anything wrong in these photos, but he can be a bit of a troublemaker now that he's getting a little bit older, and I know he gives my sister a run for her money when it's just the two of them at home. So I thought it was a cute title. It doesn't really relate necessarily to this exact photo, but I guess more to my nephew's personality at this point in his life. But I still think it's cute. So I went with Hello Trouble. And I've stuck that down, and then I go through the embellishments that came in the kits and just trying to pull out some things that I could use to make a few embellishment clusters. So because there's a lot going on with the pattern paper, I kind of didn't want to go too overboard with the embellishments, but of course I probably do. So I pull out the, what do they call these? Flare badges. Whew, a bit tongue-tied today. Flare badges, and then in the More Than Words ephemera pack from Cocoa Vanilla, they had some really beautiful watercolour hearts. Oh, definitely my words are going. Flowers. These are clearly flowers, not hearts. They're flowers. So some really cute watercolour flowers. So I pulled out those. And also there was a few like phrase or word ephemera pieces which I pull out too, and I end up going through the floral pieces and trying to pick the ones that sort of are a bit more muted and a bit less pink, not because I didn't want to use pink on a layout that is of my nephew, that's not the case at all, but this photo is predominantly red. He's wearing a red jacket and he's sitting on a red bouncy thing on the playground. And so I wanted to make sure a bit more of the red elements were coming through rather than the pink. So there is a little bit of pink on the layout in the butterfly paper and also the floral paper, but it's pretty subtle, and there is also some kind of more reddy colours in the florals. So I'm making sure I bring some of that red into the layout. So I'm creating a little cluster just on the frame in the bottom right of the photo. So I had stuck a words phrase ephemera piece down and the XOXO flare button, and now I'm just looking at where I can add a couple more clusters with these floral pieces. So I go for one on the right hand side under the title, and then the left hand side under the title and the top right of the photo. And then I realised I wanted to bring some floral down into the bottom right there. And while I was sort of trying to wedge the floral underneath the flare badge, the flare badge came off. So I went, oh, that's perfect. I'll just stick the floral piece under there. And I went with the yellow to bring some more yellow into the layout, and stuck the XOXO flare badge back down. And now I'm just sticking down the floral pieces in the other ephemera clusters, just figuring out how I want them positioned and sticking them down. Popped some up on dimensionals and stuck some flat onto the layout. So I'm just working on those to try and get them, I guess, positioned where I want them. And for this particular piece I'm putting down now, I actually did a double layer of dimensionals because the photo was already popped up. I wanted the ephemera piece to sit above the photo, so I needed to give it a bit of extra dimension. So I think I'm finished with ephemera, adding ephemera. So I'm packing up the space a little bit because I'm sort of trying to figure out, is there anything else I need to add? Because my title's black and there wasn't actually any other black on the layout, I came back to the thickers and I grabbed 3 of the thickest stars and added 1 to each cluster. I just wanted to bring a little bit more of that black into the layout, and I thought it was looking, I don't know, the black was a bit too heavy, so I did that. And then I also added in some tiny word stickers. Now these all say, you know, their sentiments about how much, you know, about love and about favourite person and all that sort of stuff. This is going into my sister's album, so I tried to pick words that I knew would work for her and going into her album. Also, obviously, I love my nephew very much, but I do scrap some photos for my sister for her album because she struggles to keep up, and I love scrapping and I don't have that many photos, so I end up doing a lot of scrapping for her, which I love. So, and she loves, because it's a win-win for everyone. So I'm pulling out some of the Heidi Swap Colour Shine to do my signature mist on all my layouts. I think this is like the thing that I do on every layout, which, you know, sorry not sorry really, because I love mists. I don't do a lot of other mixed media, but I do love the mists. And I bought a couple of new colours that were super duper reduced at my Spotlight, which is just a craft store in Australia. And one was a yellow colour, which I thought I'm never going to use. I think it's called mustard. And I thought I'm never going to use that. But I don't have a yellow, so I'm going to buy it. And it turns out it's pretty good. And there was yellow in this layout, and so the mustard was perfect. And I'm just going to add the sprinkles of the mists of the 4 different colours, and that's it done. I'm going to show you some close-ups once I've sprinkled the mist on, but we are done. This was a really easy layout to put together. It did take me a bit of time, but only because I changed my mind a few times and couldn't quite decide on how I wanted to, how I wanted the ephemera to look and what ephemera I wanted to use once I'd put the strips of paper down. I knew the strips of paper were going there, but the rest of it I sort of took me a bit of time to faff around. But if I wasn't faffing and I was focused, it would have only taken me about 20 minutes. So that's it. We're done. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. I think this is the last mist going in, and then I am going to show you some close-ups. Here we go. Spirit fingers are going. So here's the close-ups. I really hope you liked this layout. I love how it's come together, and I love this collection and Cocoa Vanilla. So we will see you in the next video. All right, guys. Bye.